Hey everybody, Motorport 59 here. Within a couple of weeks of the lockdown occurring around the nation, especially in states like California and New York, where it really became very restrictive and our constitutional rights were being trampled upon in order for them to instill this fear in people. Uh, People began talking about martial law. Were they going to enact martial law? And people started posting pictures. And the one that I saw the most pictures of online, social media and other platforms, were the military trains. Look at this! Oh my God! Look at this! They're moving this stuff around and they're gonna initiate martial law. I worked for the railroad, as most of you probably know by now, for 40 years. Retired last October. And during that 40 years, I literally saw hundreds of those military trains. They use them all the time. That's how they move their stuff around. It's not very practical to drive tanks and APCs up I-5 or out I-40. So they put them on trains so they can move them around, get them where they need their stuff. Martial law is not just something that a governor or the president can do just because they don't like the way things are going or just because they want to. There's nothing in the Constitution that gives specifics about when martial law can be enacted, but it's generally during times of war, civil unrest, or natural disasters. Martial law has been enacted quite a few times in the United States, but in specific areas. During the race riots in the South back in the 50s and 60s. During the Civil War, Lincoln famously suspended the right of habeas corpus, and was a very unpopular move then, and people still talk about it. We never came close to any of that during the coronavirus. A protest at the state capitol, whatever state capitol, as you know, I live in California, they tried to do a rally up at the state capitol, at the Capitol grounds, and they weren't allowed to do it. And like I said, we never got close to that. And if you don't know what martial law is, it's the temporary substitution of military authority over civilian authority, or instead of civilian authority. And it would take a great deal of civil unrest for that to be enacted. And again, we got nowhere near that during the coronavirus. And while there are no specific items in the Constitution on when martial law can or cannot be declared, the president and governors aren't going to just willy-nilly call up on martial law. It's not necessary unless things are really bad. And there were no riots or any real... The closest anyone came to civil disobedience or civil uprisings during this whole thing was people opening their shops before they were told they could. And that's not going to bring martial law on anyone. It can't even be the threat of it. It has to be happening. And while the military would become the authority during martial law, it still has limitations, a lot of limitations. That civilians can't be tried by military tribunals. They can't be held to the Uniform Code of Military Justice, and that the military couldn't spy on or anything like that on the civilian population. They would only be called in to suppress uprisings and things like that. Anyway, I just wanted to do something to dispel all that, the rumors, and because a lot of the people who were spreading this stuff were conservatives. And man, I hate it when conservatives I hate it when anyone does anything without researching what they're talking about. But I really hate it when conservatives do it, because come on, man, we're supposed to be better than that. We're supposed to be smarter than that. We're the ones that look into things, and we're the ones that hold ourselves accountable for the crap we say and the things we spread. It's up to us to make sure that we're being factual. I expect that kind of behavior out of liberals and progressives. That's the way they operate, but that's not the way we operate. And I don't know. I just had to say something about it. So anyway, like, share, and subscribe. Click on the bell if you want to be notified of future content. And we'll see y'all later. Not under martial law. Out in the streets, doing whatever we want to do. See ya.